Ayahuasca has truly changed my life and it continues to do so. I would even say it saved my life in many ways to allow myself to look into the emotions that I was holding into. And I'm really looking forward to finally do this video. It's been a long time coming, but I really want to talk about how ayahuasca can really support you. We're going to go over how to prepare for sitting with the medicine, how to integrate with the medicine, as well as some things that I've learned working a retreat with ayahuasca and lots more. So if you are someone that is wanting to sit with the medicine, or perhaps you have sat with the medicine and you would love a more thorough video just going through all of the things, then this video is really going to support you. To give you more of a background, I've been sitting with this medicine for some years now, and I started sitting with it to help and really support my depression and PTSD. And over the years, I've been able to sit with various different shamans, maestros, curanderos, curanderas, one of them being Colleen Ariel, where I'm actually going to be doing a beautiful collaboration retreat where I will be supporting her in the retreat in Peru as well as in Costa Rica. And I'm also going to be helping Aya healing retreats, and there's a lot of things coming up. So I just thought it would be really great to share with the community if this is something that you're feeling called to sit in medicine with ayahuasca, with master plants. I would highly suggest you going and check out the retreats and all the offerings down below. There's so many things, and now is the time for us to really come back to nature and to work with the allies. I always say that nature is our medicine, it's our meditation, it brings us back to our whole and our being. And for those of you who are feeling a little bit lost in yourself, or maybe you just want some guidance of nature, it will really truly be your deepest teacher. So yeah, I can say that for sure, and I'm so excited. I will talk more about the offerings and the retreats later, but I really want to deep dive and connect with you guys about what I've learned working on ayahuasca retreat as a medicine carrier as well. I'm also a 𝐾𝐨 facilitator, and I work with other bush medicines as well. So I'm so excited to share this with you guys and to connect with you and just offer the wisdom that I've been able to receive after sitting many ceremonies. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is the first foremost is to talk about the call versus the trend versus the, you know, what everyone's doing, the crowd is doing. And I think this is very important to really respect the medicine. And this is really key as someone who sits with the medicine, but also as someone that is learning more and more from various other beautiful souls, just their journeys and sitting in community, that there are certain things that I hear and I listen and I connect with. So the first thing I'm going to talk about the call. Have you been having dreams about the medicine? One of the biggest things for me is I dreamt about the medicine for 2 years before I actually sat with her. I was having these dreams about this beautiful abuela who was singing, which I actually, interesting enough, I actually met her in my first Dieta with 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐿 a few years back. And yeah, I just was like, it's so interesting how this beautiful spirit molecule, because ayahuasca is a spirit molecule, can weave and connect with us in our dreams. So I was connecting with this deep dream and seeing this song and these flowers. And when I went to Peru to do my first Dieta, I then noticed, wait a minute, this is the plant that I was meant to sit with, 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐿, and you are the maestra that I've been connecting with in my dreams. So again, notice your dreams. If you're someone who is a dreamer, if you're someone that connects with lucid dreaming, lucid meditation, to tune into, maybe you're starting to see the serpent with the 𝐸𝐵𝑎𝑟os, maybe you're starting to see these gridded geometry that's coming up. Maybe you're noticing, you know, an alder come in, or that feeling of the jungle move through you as you tap into the calling of nature, hearing from you and listening to you, but also calling you home, which is really what ayahuasca has really done for me. And again, I'm sharing from experience of myself. I want to just share this first and foremost. This is just from my experience. The second thing I want to talk about is hearing the medicine coming in conversation. Another thing that was really common for me years back is I noticed that a lot of people I was talking to were talking about ayahuasca, Madre, Aya, and I was like, wow, okay, this is really interesting. I started hearing people talking about the conversation. It started to come up in videos, and it's just interesting that all these things were coming up and showing me that even my words and my dream state, my subconscious, was confirming with me through conversations with people, through the souls that I was connecting with, and the frequency that was inviting me. That spirit molecule was speaking to people who sat with her. And this is very common, that her wisdom just channels through, and this is really her magic. Her magic is being able to spread her wisdom through the collective, through the energy. And when you sit with her once, she's always with you. Like, I still go to my first ceremony and receive so much healing, so much clarity just from that first ceremony. And I always tell people, when you go and sit with plants, they will continue to be your allies as long as you respect and connect with them and keep that relationship strong, but they're always there for you. You just have to ask for support. The third thing about really stepping into that calling, feeling that sense, is the big calling. Really, it's just this full body yes. You know, maybe you're just being brought to a retreat or a space that it just works perfectly for the time that you need to go, or maybe you don't even seek the person you sit, which is one of the biggest things I will highlight. This again, I'm just sharing from experience of myself. So take what resonates, throw out what doesn't. But the biggest thing I would share is the calling was coming through other people, but also I didn't have to seek my curandero or my curandera that was meant to sit with. Like, one of the biggest things, especially today, don't seek for healing. Allow the healing to come with you. And this isn't only for plants. This isn't only for ayahuasca. Allow yourself to let the medicine come to you. Allow it to come and support you. This is so important. When we seek, we actually blind ourselves to clarity. This is anything in life. So allow that calling to come. And I trust that those of you watching this video, the calling has come in one way or another. The medicine has called you to prepare in one way or another to sit. Or maybe you have sat, and this is an opportunity for you to prepare more consciously and more intuitively when you sit next time, to be more of a ceremony even before you sit with her. Because ideally, the ceremony starts before you even connect with her. It's already weaving into your life. Now let's talk about the calling versus the trend. And this is something I take very seriously as a Campbell practitioner, as well as a practitioner of herbal medicine, bush medicine, and various medicines that I connect with. And now stepping also in assisting and supporting elders in the space of Aya. The biggest thing I will share is this is not a trip. This is not just something you go on a journey and you just, go and share with your friends. This isn't a rave. This isn't a party. This is work. This is healing. And when we respect that, that is so key. And right now in a time where there is a need for integral space holders, and it seems like people sit once or twice and then all of a sudden they become a shaman or a curandera, it is very important for us to understand that this is not a joke. And I just want to share this as a responsibility as a Campbell practitioner, but also being part of the community of plant medicine carriers. It is so key for us to just really share with you that, ask the person that you're holding space with, who did they sit with? What is their training? What plants have they dieted? These are all questions to ask to support you. And a really big tip I would suggest, if you do decide to sit with someone that is coming to you, even if you feel that calling, it just allows you to feel safe in that space. And it also allows you to feel in if this person is the right person for you. And to understand patience is really important. The medicine will test you where you want to rush into sitting with her, or when you're going to actually sit with that full body yes. So number one, everyone's doing it, so I want to do it. It's all over. It's like, Mike Tyson's doing it. All the people are doing it. So why not, right? This is not a trend. So again, making sure that you are knowing not every medicine in this earth is for you to experience. Okay, just let that drop in. Not every medicine is for you to experience. But there are many plants, thousands of thousands. You will not even know every single one. I don't even know. The more you know, the more you don't know, right? So it's understanding that, is this truly a calling, or is it because I am feeling other people and I want to just be part of the party? It's that peer pressure part of the party. The next one is I want it to be a trip, right? You are the word that comes up a lot personally for me is psychonaut, right? It's that idea that you're constantly just going and seeking for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And that alone can come from the shadow of addiction or the shadow of chasing the high or the fixing or the perfectionism. So when you see that, really sit with that. You know, that is the work too, sit with the shadow of like, where do I just want to seek a trip? And that is respecting the medicine. 𝐾𝐨, ayahuasca, you know, any medicine that you connect, rose, blue lotus, you have to understand we're not seeking the trip. What we're actually doing is we're sitting with ourselves and we're understanding that all the answers are in ourselves. So if you think that you're just going to go on a journey and it's all about visions, you might sit in ceremony and it will not be about visions. It won't be any visions. It might just be introspective. It might be physical healing. It might be just a conversation with your inner self and meditative, or it might be visionary. But I always say the best advice I can give you, whether it's your first time sitting or you've sat many times, every ceremony is your first time. Every ceremony is your first time. Not one or the second one. It doesn't matter how many times you sit. It's all about understanding that humbleness of our heart, that every ceremony is our first time that we are sitting with that medicine and we are constantly evolving. So keeping that in mind, and that's something that's really key. Chasing the healing. And this is something I even see not only in plant medicine, but also when I hold space for people in healing, whether it's somatic healing, whether it's breath work, whether it's plant medicine ceremonies as well, is this chasing of healing. And, you know, I look into that, you know, what are you chasing? What part of you feels like there's something you're missing, that you're not fully whole in your being, right? And look at that and to tune into that essence of there's no chasing, there's only listening to all that is here and uncovering. So moving from chasing the healing to uncovering the truth of what you need to look at. So these are the differences between the call and the trend. And I want to go over this because I think this is key before we get into how to prepare. And maybe there's already some shadows and things coming up, and this is good. This is great. We're having this conversation because this supports you on your journey. It supports you on understanding, you know, through ayahuasca, what you can learn and how to support yourself in your process and your healing. Now we're going to move into how to prepare for ceremony. I'm so happy I wrote all these things down because I probably would have forgot them. So the first thing is the ceremony starts the moment you hear the call. So if you resonated with these three things, or you're feeling your body is like a full body yes and sensation, whatnot, number one, I will say that you're probably feeling the call to sit with her, or maybe it's time to sit with her again, whatever it may have you. And maybe there's some resistance, and we welcome that because that is just excitement that is hidden, or maybe the fear of the unknown of what can come up, right? So we welcome that. That is honoring and understanding that you're not going to feel 100%. I'm still like, oh my gosh, even when I sit, like you are surrendering, you are being asked to get out of the way to see what you need to see, might not necessarily be what you want to see, right? So the ceremony starts with the moment you have the call. And if you feel this call and you're wanting to sit, highly suggest you staying to the end of the video. I'm going to go over a little bit more of, you know, the offerings and the great spaces that are amazing and retreats to support you of where to sit and how to sit deeply in this medicine. So the second thing is understanding the themes that come up in your life. Okay, so like I said, the moment you start sitting, the ceremonies come, because the shadows and these things that want to heal and the things that want spaciousness to be looked at are going to come up, right? You might be triggered more with certain relationships. You might notice certain friends that you're kind of like, ooh, there's something coming up here about this relationship. It wasn't there before. You may even notice the emotions start to come up, anger, sadness, crying, whatever it is. You may shift and notice that something big shifts and changes right before ceremony. This is very common, right? I always say spirit gives us tests constantly, but they get a little bit more, you become more aware of it the moment you start to sit and work with the spirit molecule of Aya. She knows she's preparing you to sit and to look at what you need to. So she is our teacher even before we sit with her. The third thing is understanding the relationship with food. Now, this is something I add. I'm really happy I took time to really like go over a little kit for you guys, because this helped me a lot of understanding how our temple is our body, earth, my body, right? And we're connecting with nature, we're connecting with plant allies. So the moment we connect with such a deep spirit that's here to teach us, a plant that is here for a relationship, your food attachments come up, I find. And just understanding what is your relationship with food. So maybe, I know I can speak from my own experience, I would reach for food for comfort or for support a lot of the times. And I noticed through my process of sitting with eye over the years, it has helped me with my relationship with food, but also my rooted shadow, which was body dysmorphia, which was, you know, tuning into how I didn't love and accept this body that I'm in. And remember, healing is not a state, it's a continuous journey that we go through. But understanding the relationship with food and starting to just be more aware of intuitive eating, which intuitive eating is like going into your fridge, feeling into what you want to eat, why you want to eat this. Ooh, I feel like an orange. One of my favorite things to do is if I notice I'm craving a certain fruit or vegetable, I look up the spiritual meaning of that, the benefits of the healing benefits, because that can allow me to know what is my body craving, what is it needing, and how can I nourish my body. So this is really going to support you with the integration process after the Aya retreat. Okay, so this was big, and I noticed this a lot working the Aya retreat that we had, and it's also something I've learned being a participant, sitting in ceremony, is everyone's relationships with things and even addiction and comfort and blankets. I like to call them the cozy blankets that we like to hold on to not look at things and because we're scared or we're uncomfortable of like removing that safety net. That comes up in food. So listening and just being aware, maybe just speaking right now, they're coming up, right? And just writing them down, tuning into them, journaling about them, having conversations with that, and finding different ways to support you with your relationship. Now let's go into before you go to the retreat. So you're at the 2 to 3 month, 1 month mark. Okay, so around 2 to 1 month, I said 3, but 2 to 1 month, and you're about to go to the retreat. You know, you're getting prepared, the things are coming up, you're excited, you're nervous, all the things. I will say this, one of the biggest tips, there's going to be a part of you, for some of you, that might feel, oh my gosh, I don't want to go on all those things. This is just you and the mind, okay? Bring yourself to breath and meditation. This is one of the biggest reasons why, as a 𝐾𝐨 facilitator and as, you know, a medicine woman, I find it's been very helpful to bring breath work with my integration for people. This is why we're offering it at the retreat as well with Colleen, because it allows people to breathe and regulate their system as they're going through very high shifts with their light body and their auric field and their spirit. So breathing, bringing meditation 2 to 1 month and really making that part of your practice will really help you. Now, the first thing we're going to go into officially on the list is Dieta. We talked about food. We're going to go back to the food aspect, right? So one of the biggest things is it's really important that you are eating certain foods that will work well for the medicine, for you to really allow yourself to take in the medicine to fully be in your spirit and your soul, right? You become a plant, essentially. You become the medicine. So with that, you know, just like in your garden, certain plants don't like to be around certain things. For example, garlic and onion. You'll notice that you use them in your garden as protecting mechanisms for certain, you know, insects or things that will come and eat our food. So similarly, our body becomes that plant and it's a growing seed. So things such as orange, citrus, medication, supplements, you know, miso, soy, what else? Alcohol, recreational drugs, all those things. These are things that are part of your diet. And even your dieta is your screen time, right? What you're scrolling on TikTok, on social media, on YouTube, you know, this is also part of your diet. It's anything you take in, anything you're absorbing in information, like a sponge, right? But these are some ideas of things to remove. Now, each maestro curandera, what I've learned is that has their own diet. So it's important to ask them. Or they might even give it to you. Usually they give you a little package of what you need to take away from your diet or whatnot. But for me, what has been common and true is the citrus. The meat, that is subjective depending, but for my experience, I usually remove the meat, the salt, the processed foods, the processed sugars, the sugars as well. Sometimes they even don't allow you to have cacao, and some do, right? So it depends on each person, but those are the main things like I just mentioned. the citrus, the salt, the processed foods, the processed sugars, the garlic, the onion, the, you know, usually the basic is just beans, rice, and maybe some broccoli, maybe some beans, and that's it. And there's no salt or sugar on it. You'll have some tea and the diet. That's a traditional dieta or plantain, right? So keep your diet as close to the earth as possible and as natural as possible. And try not to have high fats or a lot of citrus because that will upset the stomach, okay? So I hope that kind of covers it. I feel like this is a video on its own. So if you guys would like me to do a dieta video, just let me know down below of what I use for 𝐾𝐨, for example, or how I prepare for ayahuasca. It might support you. Just let me know. I'm here to help. So the next thing is limiting screen time. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to go over too much about it, but you know, your music, the things you're scrolling, just try to stay away from the phone. Try to stay away from the online. You know, you're watching this, great. If you're about to sit in the medicine, but again, try to be really conscientious of what you're absorbing and what you're taking in. The third thing is setting intention. Without intention, we're going in there sometimes feeling a little bit lost. So your homework, if you will, is to be aware of the themes and things that are coming in your ceremony prior to sitting. Right? So what are the themes that are coming up with you before you sit with Aya, before you sit with a plant medicine, right? And one of the biggest things is to look at your intention. So how do we set intention? Setting intention is having a conversation. Think of you meeting your spirit with Aya. That's what it is. You are meeting yourself with Aya. And you're sitting there and you're having this conversation and you're going over, you know, I need some clarity on this. Or maybe it's show me what I need to heal, or show me what I need support on, or release, or heal, or let go. Or maybe you could just say, my job, and one of my favorite intentions is, my intention is to get out of the way and allow Aya to do what she needs to do. And sometimes when we don't have an intention, we're trying to grasp something in the words, we're all over here. Sometimes keep it simple. Keep your intention simple. Sometimes when we walk in with like 10, 15, I used to come in and like with 15 intentions and like feel overwhelmed because it was all from here, it wasn't from here. So again, keep your intention simple, but it also helps to just really bring a surrendering intention where you can really allow no expectation to be there and be open that your intention will change. Maybe you sit one night and your intention's here, but then she shows you a whole other place that you have to look at, and that evolves from there. So be flexible with the healing that will come for you because it's for the divine timing. It's going to support you. The fourth thing to know, sorry, there's like a fly that's there. The fourth thing to know is that how can I prepare for integration when I get home? Ooh, this is so important. If someone told me this, I'd be so happy. I will tell you guys a story. I sat my first ceremony and I remember I sat 2 nights and it was a beautiful ceremony, but man, did I not know that I needed time and spaciousness. And I kind of felt so overwhelmed with the changes and like the heightenedness of my intuition and my gifts that I kind of just, and even just like the realness, just the true colors of people, my relationships and myself, that I didn't know what to do. So essentially what happened was I just spent like 2-3 weeks not doing anything. I couldn't work, I couldn't do anything. And it's not about that. I did what I needed. I think that was, I don't regret anything, but what I learned from that was allowing myself to have things like set up so I could fully be my feminine and integrate. What I mean, feminine and flow, because so many things are changing. So a great example that I love to do is I book myself a massage, I book a sauna, maybe I book, and I wait about 3 days if I do massage because I want myself to be in my energy with Aya. But I book a massage, sauna, or maybe an integration session or a healing session to integrate gentle healing. Sometimes I go in for a hike, a walk, or create a really yummy dieta-friendly meal at home and play some music, maybe some songs from ceremony to help me integrate. These are all things that I will do: singing, dancing, moving the body gently, bringing myself into the water and play with the bath. So giving yourself what is nourishing for your spirit. Give yourself some things, even if it's just 1 or 2 things that is set up before you go into the retreat, before you go into healing, and it will just help you just have that to be a grounding space for you. Even if you're going back to work It's something that will remind you to integrate, because again, integration is so important. If you just go into the ceremony and go back to work and just like forget about it, sometimes what happens with a lot of people, all the integration hits at once when you get sick or when the day off or that long weekend comes in, and it's just like, it's overwhelming. So allow yourself, like I always say, when you're sitting with plant medicine, your spirit is catching up with your human in the real time, right? Because up here, the work is so deeply engraved and it's meeting the reality here. So allow yourself to be patient and ask yourself, what are some things I can set up and schedule in to nourish myself, to support myself at that time, right? And it might change and that's okay, but at least you have that set up so you don't even have to think about it when you're integrating. You can slowly move back to reality. The next thing you need to know of how to prepare, what 2 to 1 month before, is packing all your items. So obviously if you're going to, you know, maybe Costa Rica or Peru, or, you know, you're going to sit with the medicine, it is very helpful for you to know what you need. A little tip, bring a flashlight with a red light, headlight. It really is helpful to have when you're in ceremony, especially if you're sitting in Peru with the shipibo, because it's more of the traditional as opposed to, you know, the Santo Daime where there's light, or you know, other tribes like 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤, it's all dark, right? So it is very helpful to have that while you're in the jungle. I'm sure they will give you a list of things to bring, but the best top things that really helped me when I sat in the jungle was probably a flashlight, making sure that I have bug spray, natural bug spray. Do not bring chemicals with you, and natural toothpaste. Natural toiletries in general is very supportive for you. Some long pants that are easily dryable. Like I like to bring my hiking pants, so when I'm in the tall grass or I'm going out for a night walk with the curanderos or the maestro, that's very helpful. And one long sleeve is supportive. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, those are the main things that really helped me. And obviously my moon cycle, depending on when it comes, I love to bring just the moon cycle underwear, which is really helpful for me, so I'm comfortable. So these are some things. I'm trying to think what else, but maybe I could do another video of that, what to pack. But just looking at what is needed, you can always ask the center or the place that you're going of, you know, what you need to pack. The next thing is altar items. So this is something that was really helpful for me. Maybe I'm coming into a ceremony wanting to heal my inner child, and that's my intention. Or maybe there's a crystal that really supports me and I can learn how to work with that crystal and support me during my ceremony. Maybe, you know, you want to charge an altar item so you can bring home and help you integrate. So one of the biggest things I would suggest you doing is bringing an altar item, even if it's for your hut and your space, to charge that and just bring a little bit of home with you. It really helped me ground, but it also kept me kind of reminded of why I'm here. Bringing these sacred items is just like bringing the sacredness to connect with your ceremony even deeper. And yeah, altar items, I can't stress enough. Some people don't bring them, that's fine. I'm not forcing you to bring it. I'm not saying it's a mandatory thing, but it does make a big difference to just have an altar item there for your journey and to look at it, to connect with it, to learn how to use it as a tool, to play an instrument during your downtime if you can, just really being with yourself in that time. The next thing is journaling. So traditionally, usually reading books is not something that they would encourage, especially if you go into master dieta or you're sitting with medicine. So if you do decide to bring a book, because what I've been told by elders is they've shifted it a little bit as, you know, more and more Westerners have come to sit, is having a spaciousness for them to actually read a book, right? So when you read a book, you can read something that will actually support you, that was actually doable for your healing. So for example, you might want to read a dream weaving book, or maybe you want to read a book like The Power of Now, or something that is actually going to support you in your journey. Now, for me, I love journaling, and I don't usually bring a book to read when it comes to Dieta. I just kind of like being able to sing, create song, poetry. So bring a journal, because you might even find, even if you're not a journaler, you will become a journaler during your Aya experience or your full ceremony with the medicines. So journaling really helps you just detox and like purge out the brain if you're going through a process, get your thoughts out. And it's great to look at even after the ceremonies when you go home to see the connections and really fill in the blanks as well. It's also great if you want to bring poetry, music. The plants really enhance our gifts and our creative elements as well. So this is an opportunity for you to just express that. because you aren't using your phone, you're not scrolling, you're fully submersed with yourself. And that's the beauty of this. The last thing I will share of how to prepare before you head to your trip to do this beautiful ayahuasca retreat is making sure all responsibilities are taken care of so you can be fully immersed. I've had multiple experiences, whether it's sitting, but also assisting with people with retreats, and not only Aya, but other retreats as well. And one thing I will share with you guys is when you are coming from work and you're super in that space of head or traffic and you come into the ceremony, that's when, sorry, my battery kind of died there, so we're back at it. Hope I didn't end at a certain point, but I'll repeat the last point just in case, and I'll see it probably when I edit it. So one of the things as well is just making sure your responsibilities. I've had one person where they decided to actually go on their phone, and it totally took them out of the experience. This was actually a 𝐥𝐤𝐤 and a beautiful herbal medicine ceremony that I did, a retreat in Portugal, and they just like fully were removed from their experience. And that wasn't a day that we went over boundaries with family, and then they decided to cross their own boundaries. Well, in turn, that energy brought into the rest of their retreat. So that's an example of where, you know, responsibilities and that looming over our body and our being can really change our whole experience. But that's a teacher as well, right? The second example as well is I had another person that was at the retreat, and you know, part of the experience is to immerse, be with the lands, be in the process, the whole thing, right? And making sure that you're really emerging, right? So working, no, that's not something that you came to do in the journey of the retreat. This is a time for you to focus on yourself. Think of a week, or even 10 days, 11 days, or even 2 weeks out of 365 days of the year, or even out of your life. That is literally nothing, right? But sometimes it shows us the attachments we have and how much of our energy is constantly, even in a time when we're with ourselves. And one of the biggest things that an elder told me was that, you know, we need to hit that space of insanity to understand what makes us insane sometimes. Right? And when you're in the Dieta, or when you're with an ayahuasca retreat, or you're sitting with these master plants, or you're going through your processes, one of the biggest things is sometimes you go through insanity because you are in a process of like, whoa, oh my gosh, this is so much on me. Like I am focusing all this time, this attention on myself. All the things that are literally all my attachments are making me insane. So you go through that. You go through that major burst of emotions. And I'm just sharing this to be completely honest with you guys. Like, that is a purge. That is something you're releasing that you can then come back to balance, and that feeling, that freedom that you have after is amazing. I remember on my Bobansana Dieta, I sat there and I just had a day where I was just crying and crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. And I just felt everything in my life was just about to woof. And then literally an hour later, I was like, I feel so much better because I allowed that. If I allowed myself to be distracted, go on my phone, think about work, or just like do something that made me outside of that emotion, made me not sit with that process and that emotion, that ceremony, I probably wouldn't have processed it. I probably would have just been living life bypassing through that emotion constantly and left the Dieta not fully immersing in my experience, right? So these are the ways that you can support yourself before a Dieta and really help yourself with the processes. I hope this was helpful for you. We're going to go to the last part of this whole experience and what I've learned working a retreat and what has been very supportive also as a participant and sitting in retreat. And it's after retreat. You're done the experience. You feel like a beautiful plant. You're feeling amazing. You feel so, ooh, and you're just ready for this. And there's so much love in yourself. You're in your divinity. Or maybe you feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much and I'm still in my process. You know, there's no wrong way of how you will feel at the end. But there is something waiting for you at home, and that is the transformation meeting into your life. So one of the next things is when you get on home, integration. The first thing I will say, give yourself 3 days to a week before you make any major decisions. We come out of an Aya retreat and maybe you feel like you want to move to the other side of the world. You want to sell all your things and leave, or you want to break up with your partner, or you want to, you know, change your job and you know, leave and end up being a nomad for the rest of your life. There's so many things that we want to do and we're like, oh, I just want to do all the things. But reality is the plant is still working with you. So instead of doing all those things, integrate, take it slow, which is the first thing. Second thing, maybe take it slow. Spaciousness and slowness, flow and ease is a key. Let yourself be the observer, not the reactor. So in this 3 day to a week and even longer, depending on your process, there's no to be determined time, right? So allow yourself to take that spaciousness and to really just observe the changes at hand. Observe your life, observe how it feels to come back home in your room, in your space, observe your relationship with your partnerships, your friends and your family. And you might even notice that you won't even react to things like you used to anymore. Or maybe there is a reaction there, and that's the work, right? The integration and when you get home is the real work. Because the reality is on this retreat, you are away from your home, you're away from your family, you're away from your friends. It's not reality of actually how you're living, right? So you have to look at that, right? And see that the spaciousness allows the new habits, the new learnings and teachings to come into your life and support you so you can embody and live the true ceremony, which is life. The second thing to know about after the retreat to support you in your integration is sacred sharing. There is no need for you to share to everyone. This is something I learned probably a couple of years after sitting with the medicine. I would get so excited to just want to share. I think you guys even notice here that, you know, I'm just starting to share more about plant medicines and stuff because for me, it was a multiple layers. It was number one, I just felt there was a lot of me moving out of the judgment of, oh my gosh, I can't share, blah, blah, blah. But it was also the fact of like, and judgment of family and friends and all the things. But there was also that other layer of like oversharing too, right? So it's a balance of understanding that and knowing that these plants and sitting, whether it's ayahuasca retreats, dietas, it's understanding that there's sacred sharing. So what sacred sharing is knowing that there are certain things in your ceremony you will not share with anyone but yourself. And that is fully welcomed, and there is no pressure for you to share with other people and to listen to that. Right? So when people get back home, they want to know about your experience. They want to know what happened. They want to know all the downloads. The best friend's sitting there with the tea and they're the cacao. They're ready to listen to you. But it's like, practice your boundaries of sacred sharing. You don't need to tell the whole world yet. You know, you don't need to share with everyone. I mean, maybe you will not, because this is for you. And there's other things that I want to share with my close friends, and also knowing who to share with, who are the people that, you know, 𝐻𝐤 is still in you. It's telling you, hey, this is a safe space for you to share with this person. Then you listen to that, right? Because not everyone will understand the journey. And this is why it's so great to have integration circles, which is something that is given during the retreats, especially the ones I'll share at the end, is having an integration session, an integration circle with everyone who has experienced the experience you've had. We're going through the same experiences, and we can come together to share the changes, because people at home might not necessarily understand, and that is okay. But finding sacred spaces such as integration calls, integration sessions, and healings can really support you. The next thing is journaling. So just like I said, the medicine's still with you, journaling, writing the songs, doing all those things, bringing that back into your life. And you might still notice you're purging or just channeling things and receiving such big insight. I encourage you to write it down, write the date on it so you can also go back to it, because that is super important. Also, journal your dreams. Your dreams are the way that this spirit molecule also connects and does work on you. So if you're noticing that you're getting very, very, very intensive dreams, like this is a sign that, ooh, this is good information. This is things that I need to know. Allow those dreams to come through in journaling. I like to have a dream book and a journaling book, and that really helps me, or a healing book, and that supports me a lot. And it's also nice to have a journal just for my 𝐻𝐤 experience, because then I can keep track of it and go through it as well. The next thing is playing music, creative flow, maybe painting, maybe making music, writing poetry, songs, spoken word, whatever it is, those things are going to come through for you. Let that come through. You are a creative being. You create your reality. When you can allow yourself to have that creative, feel good spaces, outlets to come through, play, you know, allow yourself to play for yourself, play to the trees, maybe play some sound bowls if you want, maybe play with your drum, maybe just sing. Your biggest instrument, your best instrument is your voice, right? So you're activating, allowing that to come through, light language, your channel codes, whatever is coming through from the heart. This is a time to let that play come through to help you integrate, but also to channel emotions that you're moving through as you're still integrating the process. Dieta. Dieta, food, we're here. So Dieta is another big thing with the ayahuasca retreat as well. And it's also important, I think, with all plant medicine experiences is the food you're taking. You just went through a process of removing a lot out of your body. So your body needs to take time to slowly come in. Another common thing is when you sit with Aya, you might even notice that there's certain foods that were attached to shadows and maybe safety blankets that you've literally abolished. And now you don't feel like eating meat or milk or eggs or certain things, right? So this is where it's so important to really incorporate intuitive eating. Eating foods that feel good for you, eating foods that are really allowing you to strive and feel amazing, and that are nourishing yourself so you can take that Aya medicine back into your everyday life, right? So I highly suggest 3 days after to stick with the Dieta up to a week. But it's up to you. It also depends on the support that you get from the 𝐵𝐻𝐻, the maestro. So listen to them, allow them to support you on that and ask them questions. Everyone's is different. Every maestro's is different. So I won't speak on that. But for me, what has worked from my experience is doing the Dieta 3 days before and then kind of just feeling it out. Like recently when I went to my last ceremony, I noticed that meat is really something that I was already removing it, and I was raw vegan for 1.5 years. I was vegan after that for a year. And then I slowly got into bone broth and things like that. But then recently, the more I get into the plants, the deeper I go into my journey, the biggest change that has happened to me is meat. It's so deeply, like I just see me and this animal the same and in a deeper way that I can't explain it. It's a feeling. Maybe you resonate with it. If you do, let me know down below your experience. But that is something that has changed for me from my experience. Milk is years ago. That's something I don't even remember the last time I had a glass of milk or milk in my stuff. So that's something I've definitely removed from my diet. So just knowing that there are things that might be removed, things that will be changed, processed foods, make sure that you don't sit and eat that maybe 3 days after, because these foods can actually cause cramping. One thing that a maestro told me last time I sat, last year I did a 26 days and it was an amazing process. And during this process, I remember him saying that please do not eat processed foods and please do not eat red meat. And if you do, you're going to have cramping in the stomach and it's going to be very uncomfortable. You'll make it, but you might feel very uncomfortable. You might be laying on the floor, be like, why did I do this to myself? Right? And he laughed and he said, and then I'll have to sing you 𝐿, which are healing songs to allow you to really connect and also heal yourself. That's a short version of what 𝐿 is. It's so much deeper than that. But he was sharing that he would have to sing that to you and support you in that way. So yeah, that is basically the Dieta. Listen to your body. Intuitive eating is more crucial after sitting with the medicine's with you. So again, like I said, wait 3 days before any changes, leaving the partner, divorcing, changing the job, moving halfway across the world, throwing all your stuff. Just wait a few days. Allow it to cycle through after. Lastly is integration support. This is something that's so key, and I'm so grateful that I have been able to experience sitting with space holders that have allowed me to have integration support. And what integration support is essentially a session that allows you can make it comparable to therapy. It's essentially talking and speaking your experience and allowing yourself to get support from a plant medicine and perspective, right? You know, it's nice to have someone that can help you somatically or integrate all the medicine you've received and how it relates to your real-time life here and what to do with that information, how to take it into the ceremony of life. So these are things that are important, and you can see that with integration and how that supports you as well. This is something that is so key when I do plant medicine ceremonies and retreats. And also it's something big with other maestros that I've sat with, that they always make sure that there is this space. I'm so grateful to have them offer that to me and also to the group for us to really integrate. So this is all the things and what I've learned working at Aya Retreat, but also being a participant as sitting with grandmother and sitting with her and healing with her. And she has honestly helped me. She's the reason why I'm a 𝐾𝐨 practitioner. She's the reason why I'm doing this work and doing this video for you. She's the reason why I'm doing all that I do. And honestly, I'm really grateful for that. I'm really, really grateful. And I want to share a couple things with you guys. And the one thing I'm going to share depends on when you see this video, but this is a timely share that I'll share. So I'm so grateful because there are 3 offerings that I'm going to be sharing, and there's more to come, 3 that are currently coming. So if you feel right now that you feel the call, that everything here is resonating, you're buzzing, your heart is full body yes, or there's that curiosity to pull forward, I would love to invite you to Aya Retreats and Aya Retreats Healing, which is a beautiful center with John Miguel, and it's in Peru. This is the first offering. There's more. And this is specifically for light workers, people who are currently, supporting medicine, helping with medicine. Also for people who are interested in feeling that call to work in that space of healing. And this is called the Shamanic Initiation. It's the exact one that I did for 26 days. And I'm so grateful that I am going to be coming this July to support 𝐥𝐢𝐤 and be an assistant during this retreat. So you get to sit, you get to learn about the plants, you do a master Dieta, you sit in 10 ceremonies, you learn about �𝐿, you go through the gardens, you get a full Dieta. You literally come here with anything that you want to heal and learn about these plants and how to heal yourself. It's an intensive 26 days of isolation and support with a group. And right now we have 5 spots available. So if you're interested in that, you can give me an email. I'll send you all the information for that. You can also apply. There'll be a link for all this to apply. Retreats 2024, 2025. Go and apply for that. The second 2 things I'm going to share with you guys, which I'm really excited. So last year I collaborated with 𝐥𝐤𝐤, and I'm so grateful. She has really helped me with my healing. I've been sitting with her for many years, for 5 years now, just over 5 years. I can't believe it. And we sat and did a retreat. We did a beautiful retreat at Heaven and Earth Sanctuary this past February, and we're doing it again next year from the 1st to the 11th of February 2025. And this is an opportunity for you to sit with 4 ceremonies with Aya, as well as a beautiful Bobansana, cacao water blessing with the eternal waters that stream through this beautiful space on Heaven and Earth Sanctuary. And breath work. I'll be serving 𝐥𝐸 during the ceremonies, as well as helping with rape, sananga, and also bringing song, singing activations, singing together and coming into community. And you also get an integration circle after the retreat. And we also have a beautiful offering in Peru that's happening on April 21st to the 31st, 2025. And this is happening at Novalis at a beautiful treehouse, a beautiful space. I'm so grateful. It's such an honor to be here. And this is actually Colleen Ariel's really good friend that they've had a lot of history together, and it's all 𝐿 Quechuan, and I'm so grateful to get to connect and to collaborate. And you will also get all these offerings, but in this one you will actually also get to experience making jewelry with the elders and working as well with the 𝐿 here. So if you are feeling the call to connect with these beautiful, integral, and amazing, wise curanderos and maestros, you can go and apply down below. I'm going to leave a link, and there's a few spots, limited spots, as well as if you see this before or after the time, because I know this video is going to be on for long, just check out my website. It will show you all the updates of various retreats that will be supporting you. There's a couple others that are coming up. I feel and I'm sensing that are coming up to support and co-create with other medicine carriers to help and support the collective right now, because right now we need it more than ever to work with nature. And Ayahuasca is really healing us to come back to ourselves, our divinity, and our healing. And 𝐿𝐤𝐤 allowing you to cleanse and clear your channels, your body and your being. Together they work as a team. So yeah, I'm just so grateful and excited to work with these elders and these amazing curanderos and maestros, and I want to invite you to it. It would be beautiful to sit with you in ceremony and to co-create with you. So go and apply down below all the information. Send me an email, or the team, if you have any questions at all. We're here to support you in your journey, and I hope to see you at Aya retreats, or with Colleen and I, and Costa Rica or Peru, or any of the other retreats, and weaving together to really heal for the collective and ourselves. Don't forget, before you leave, to let me know down below what you want support with. If there are other videos on ayahuasca you would love, on 𝐿𝐤𝐤, on plants that can support you from my experience, that can help you with your journey, please Put in your questions down below. I'm going to make some videos to help you out. And also don't forget to share this, like, subscribe, and share this retreat or this video if it's helpful for anyone who's about to go sit with Aya or feeling the call. And I will see you guys in the next video.